Hi, I'm Kaylee with Movieguide, and we're here with Dream Center at their 30th anniversary celebration.
What does 30 years mean to you at the Dream Center?
Oh, 30 years. First of all, we moved out here in 1997.
Okay.
So it's almost 30 years we've been in LA. And we visited the Dream Center really early when we came out here. And let me tell you, we've seen the changes that this place makes to so many lives. I'm sure it's older than both of you. So, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But what's so amazing is that being in Hollywood and a celebrity life, you see people talking, but you see very few people doing.
Yeah.
And so it's been very important to my wife and I that we really support only those people who are doing.
Yes.
Because there's so much talk and people just walk away. And I said, but the fact that this place really, really does something about the tremendous homelessness problem that we have here in Los Angeles and all the other issues. And it's aptly named the Dream Center. Because so many people come to LA to get a dream, like me and my wife.
Yeah.
So it makes it so perfect. And I just knew that when I got the opportunity, my job was to become famous enough so that I could host an event like this.
Hey, that's right.
So what do you feel is different about Dream Center than other services that may try and provide the same?
Well, there are other services doing their thing, but at the same time, you got to understand, it's literally about who's a finisher, because this is another thing. When I look at the 1-year commitment that the Dream Center makes, there are places that only give people a month or two.
Right.
And the gift that they give is time. Everything can change, but everything needs time.
Yeah.
And if you don't have the time, you're still living under pressure,
Yeah.
which causes you to choke or mess up or whatever, you know what I mean? And that's the one big difference that I see, is that they're really investing the time for people's lives to change. Because let me tell you, being in LA, a year goes by like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it gets more expensive every month, every day. And it's hard. It's hard for a lot of people. But I love the fact that year commitment can really ease and take away a lot of the anxiety that a lot of people who are trying to change their lives for the better, they're trying to experience it.
So I have been involved with them since I was about 16, and it's a kind of a unique story. I did a movie called Machine Gun Preacher when I was around that age, I think, or it came out when I was around that age. Anyway, they were one of the only churches that promoted it when it was coming out, because it's kind of like intense subject matter. So Pastor Matthew, because he deals with so much intense subject matter, was like, come to the Dream Center. So we promoted it there, and my family, we had literally just been needing a church at that time, and got to the Dream Center, and we were like, this is really unbelievable. We heard every Sunday he does testimonies of people's lives that have been changed at the Dream Center at church. So we were like, oh my gosh, that's where we figured out what was going on. We had never heard about it before. So it was because of that movie, long story short. Yeah.
That's incredible.
It's really crazy. And then we were just there ever since.
So it sounds like, how has Dream Center supported you?
Oh my gosh. Well, that was they opened up the door to supporting me, but actually, funnily enough, I got my GED through the Dream Center. I know. So, when you're younger, when you're under 18, you can't work for as long hours on set. So we had been at the Dream Center for a little while at that point, found out they had the GED program. I went through the Dream Center, it was so awesome, because I'm with people who are a lot older than me, people who have had crazy backstory, and here we all are in the same boat getting our GED together. And I got my GED through the Dream Center, and then I got to work longer hours on set because of them. So that's one of the probably unconventional ways that they've supported me. But obviously just their love and support and praying for me and different things like that have been huge as well. But that's probably the biggest for me. That was life-changing for me.
Wow, that's amazing. It's so amazing to hear how far the reach is with Dream Center. Everything that they do, it's not just one particular thing. So what was it when you first came to Dream Center that really captivated your heart, that you said, this was the testimony that made me want to?
I heard someone give their testimony on how the Dream Center and Pastor Caroline specifically had stepped in when they were going to lose their children. So that's another really cool thing that they do, is if families are about to, for whatever reason, lose their kids, the Dream Center fills that gap of whatever it is that they need. So they'll come and they're like, oh, they need a sofa. I'm just paraphrasing, and they like get the sofa and then they can keep their children. So I think that that's probably, for me, like one of the biggest thing they do. But they do everything. Like you said, they do so many categories. And if anybody listening to this gets a chance, they do free tours. Go tour the Dream Center, because they literally, they do everything. They do everything. And they don't want anything in return other than support.
So what would you say to someone who wants to get involved with Dream Center, whether it be volunteer or donation? What would you say to them?
I would say either check it out on a Sunday, come do a free tour. Honestly, if you just go to the Dream Center and you knock on the door, someone's going to let you in, whatever time of day you go, or just look it up online. It's like so easy to follow their website. But I think personally seeing it for yourself is really special. Like, you can't really go back from that.
I feel amazing. I feel happy. It's hard to come to something like this, especially for the Dream Center, and not feel amazed at what they're doing and have been doing for 30 years now.
Wow. How did you get involved with the Dream Center?
I started going to church there maybe 15 years ago with some friends, and I feel like just the memories that come to mind are the music, obviously, the testimonies, just getting to know Pastor Matthew and Caroline and seeing what they do for so many, their heart for people. And I'm still part of their family. I got to host this a couple years ago. I'm presenting tonight. We're going to have a time.
I wanted to ask, what was it about Dream Center's movement that wanted you to be a part of it?
I think it's just easy. The movement is people. The movement is need. The things that you see, unfortunately, a lot of here in Los Angeles. And to realize that it's actually so easy to make a difference. And whatever that looks like for you, it could be a monthly donation, it could just be attending and speaking and lending your talents like you're doing tonight. So many ways to be a part of what they're doing. So an easy yes for me.
I grew up on the East Coast in Pennsylvania, and 2 decades ago, I started hearing about this thing called the Dream Center and Pastor Matthew Barnett in Los Angeles. And so when I moved here 4 years ago, one of my first intentions was to be a part of such a revered and established foundation, a brand and ministry that has proven itself on the streets of Los Angeles all the way up to the elite of Hollywood who is here tonight. So it's a genuine honor to be a part of this ministry and this program tonight.
So how do you see the Dream Center differing from public services like a regular homeless shelter, comparing?
You know, I don't know that it differs, because it is a homeless shelter. I believe their door is open 24 hours a day. I volunteered in the kitchen, and I personally served people, and I see them serving hundreds of people. I think it's almost on a daily basis. So they're not necessarily any different. What I always say about the Dream Center is the proof is in the pudding. They live up to what they say they'll do. I mean, they accept the homeless, the addicted, the hurt, veterans. I think I went inside of a house where veterans were living at one point, veterans who weren't being served. And so I think Pastor Matthew Barnett and everyone within that building, they walk the walk. You know what I mean? They live up to what they say they're going to do. They help the people who are hurting amongst us in Los Angeles. I'm a news reporter, so I cover the opioid crisis, the fentanyl crisis, homelessness. We all know homelessness is a problem, or the dishoused here in Los Angeles. And so I always say, if you're interested in being a part of the solution to some of these things you see on the news, people tell me they don't like to watch the news because it's all bad, and I don't blame them. So, if you want to be a part of the solution, the Dream Center is part of the solution in Los Angeles.
So how did you guys get involved with Dream Center?
Well, it originally started with Candace.
Yeah.
Yep.
My best friend was Drew Hammer, was daily involved in the women's human trafficking. And it became a passion project for her way before even our country realized we were the biggest consumers of humans trafficking. And that is terrible. And she brought me in and said, you have to meet with these women. You have to see where they came from, how they got here, how they ended up in the Dream Center. And it is one of the saddest things I've ever seen in my life, that parents sell their children here in the United States. We take them over the border. But the good news is that there's people like Matthew and Caroline Barnett that want to love them back into society, give them a place to reevaluate what they thought was normal and real, and show them what life could be, not just with God, but they can do it, that they have the ability from within to come out and be okay and not be a victim anymore. But the transitions are miraculous. And I'm just very proud that I know Carolyn and Matthew and that they do the things they do.
There are apostles, we're the disciples. They change lives, they resurrect hearts and souls, and that's why we'll forever be part of their journey.
Yeah.
What do you see as the difference between Dream Center and the public homeless shelter?
Well, Steve has actually toured them and gone to Skid Row and done that. What do you think is the biggest difference?
Well, you know, in running for the U.S. Senate, I've been to downtown San Diego, Sacramento, Los Angeles, and with the Dream Center, I've always said there are three outstanding programs: the Alpha Project, Father Joe's Villages in San Diego, and the Dream Center. And what they do is they have a structured program from the initial meeting to it's a year, I think, to being able to change the dynamics of their life so they can go back into society, they can get a job, they can have dignity in their hearts, like Candace has always said, and that's the great success rate that the Dream Center has. I mean, there's no place like it. So all of us not only become disciples, we become lifers, right?
Yep. And Clayton Kershaw and Justin Turner, both, well, one now not a Dodger, but Clayton is, they each built a home on the campus, one for the veteran women, veteran men, to help them with the PTSD, and they've had tremendous success with that. And that's another facet. So human trafficking, veterans, drug addiction, mental health, and they take and treat the whole family. And I think that's one, well, obviously, I think the most important thing is that they put God centered in your life and say, maybe you can't change you, but God can help change you. And you just go along for the ride with him. And I think that's probably the biggest difference between private and state, because they can't put church and state together. I don't know how anybody lives in this world without God. That's the truth.
We're going to fight for a little more federal money for the Dream Center. And you know, the old saying that California, this country, is the shining city on the hill. Tonight we went down the 101 and looked up, and there was the Dream Center. And that's the shining example of what men and women can do to make a difference in society.
So we've heard from some of your friends talking about how you got them involved. I want to know, how did you get involved with Dream Center?
Well, I just heard about the church, and our whole family went, and the first Christmas we were here, they had a bicycle giveaway at the Coliseum in LA. So as a family ministry, we decided to all go down and help buy bicycles and give them away. And that night it was freezing cold, and families came and they slept on the sidewalk all night under tents and under their wrap, waiting to be able to have a bicycle for their children. And after that, our family, we just said, that is where we are supposed to be. And I served for 10 years volunteering at the Dream Center, working with women out of human trafficking and drug addiction, alcoholism. And it's interesting because you think you're going to change their lives, to minister into their lives, and they end up changing you. It really changed my life and healed me, because I went through a difficult divorce. And I actually talk about it. I gave my book tonight in the gift bags. It's called Hammered, because every heart has been hammered. And when my heart was hammered through divorce, I would still go down and minister to the girls in the Dream Center. So I always tell people, if you're heartbroken, go minister to other people and your heart will get healed as you do that.
Hi, thanks so much for joining us tonight. Be sure to like, subscribe, and comment if you want to see more content just like this.
If you enjoy videos that follow your values like ours, and you want to help us continue, go to movieguide.org/donate, because we're actually a nonprofit. You may not know that, but we're working in Hollywood every day to help families have more choices that follows their values. And also subscribe right now.